If you've got your eye on the new Meta Quest 3S, it's probably because you're looking for the best budget-friendly VR experience. And you're not alone, because that's the most requested review that I'm getting right now. Again, I was offered a free one, but I wanted to make absolutely sure that you knew that this was not sponsored, so I bought all of this with my own money. I used to think that the 3S was the best bang for your buck VR headset, but I'm gonna break it down for you why I no longer feel that way after getting my hands on it. Please do not get a Quest 3S or even a Quest 3 until you've watched this video. In this review, I thoroughly tested a whopping 16 different head strap attachments that worked with both the Quest 3 and Quest 3S to find you the best ones, the motorized RotoVR chair that actually tracks your head movements, the all-new Woojer Vest 4 with haptic feedback allowing you to feel your game, and many more upgrades to give you the ultimate experience. First, before we get into all the accessories, let's check out the actual Quest 3S headset. You can see that we got the 128GB version, but for $100 more, you can get double the storage at 256GB. And remember, if you do decide to purchase a Quest 3 or Quest 3S, then make sure to use my links in the comments and description below, or using a QR code if you're watching on a TV, because in doing so, you're going to get $30 Quest cash to use towards games or apps in the Quest store. It also helps out me as a creator, as I get a small commission at no cost to you for every single purchase made with my links. It's actually the best way to say thank you if this video helped you out in any way. This version of the Quest 3S also comes with the game Batman Arkham Shadow. I'm really blown away with how fun that game is for it to actually be included.
Ooh, that's a fancy box opening.
After unfolding the box like a delicate flower, you're going to notice a little tab at the bottom that says Start Here. This has a QR code for connecting you to the app, and inside a quick start guide with all of your buttons labeled and info on what everything does. Next, you'll notice we got the same Touch Plus controllers that came with the Quest 3 headset. Same quality, same exact comfortable feel. All you're going to have to do is pull out the battery tabs real quick, and then you'll be good to go. On the front, we've got your stereoscopic RGB cameras. Underneath, your volume rocker and action button. Inside-out trackers on the left and right of the headset. Also on the left side, your power button and your USB-C charge and data port. And just like the Quest 3, we've got your left and right speakers right there on the straps. By the way, we're going to go much more in-depth with the most important details between the Quest 3 and Quest 3S later in this video. They also included a spacer attachment for people with glasses. Yeah, right out of the box, I'd say it feels just about exactly as comfortable as the Quest 3. We do have a little bit of light leakage around my nose, kind of like the Quest 3. Next, we've got the KIWI Design RGB vertical stand. This one is actually compatible with the Quest 2, 3, 3S, and Quest Pro. Make things better. You can see right here on the lid, we've got a quick 6-step process on how to put it all together. First, we've got the main platform where the headset goes, a massive instruction manual. Then we've got your flexible magnetic charging cable. And then we've got a fairly heavy base. And lastly, the main support arm. After putting it all together, the last step is to put this tiny little magnetic nub into the USB-C port on your headset. Now it's going to essentially find the charging port. I'm actually really impressed with the design of this. That flexible arm on the side does a great job adjusting universally to the size and pressure of each headset. You can see that it will in fact work with your Quest 3, Quest 3S, and your Quest 2. Those adjustable side handles are also made specifically to hold both ring-free controllers and ring controllers from the Quest 2. Next, we've got the official Meta Quest compact charging dock. This will work with both the Quest 3 and Quest 3S. Inside the smaller box is that short cable that connects to the headset manually. Also a user manual and warranty guide. That main longer USB-C power cable that goes directly to the wall. And 2 rechargeable batteries. These are going to replace the stock batteries on your controllers. Then lastly, we've got the main base stand. I actually kind of like this sleek and simple design. Flipping it over and feeding the headset cable and then the main power cable was incredibly easy, even without the instructions on the back of that lid. Lastly, we removed the old batteries and put in the new rechargeable ones. And then we just gently placed them on the stand, and sure enough, they started charging immediately. If you use the 18-watt power adapter that your headset came with, it's going to take about the same amount of time to recharge your headset. Next, we've got the breathable facial interface specifically for the Quest 3S. Close up on the side, you can see that this material is actually so breathable that you can actually see my hand right through it. Pretty basic application. You just pop off the stock facial interface and then snap this one in its place. I'm actually not too bothered by the amount of light that leaks in through this mesh design around my peripherals. You really don't notice it because of how close it actually is to the edge of your peripherals. I did several tests playing about an hour of very active games, and you can see that side by side you actually do get quite a bit less sweat on your face using this interface versus the stock one. Next up, the Logitech MX Ink Mixed Reality Stylus for the Meta Quest 3 and 3S, and even the older Meta Quest 2. Pulling out the pen, we've got a pretty redundant sticker that shows you where the very obvious charge port is. Then lastly, we've got some extra nubs for the tip of your pen, just the tip. It's got a total of 5 buttons, those being an up and down, a center button, and then an Oculus button on the very bottom. And obviously the most important button being the pen's tip. This fancy pen cost me $130, and then I got the optional stand as well, which cost an additional $50. I'll include the link down below for that as well. First app that I tried was a painting app called Vermilion. This was kind of fun at first because it does add to the realism holding a pen versus a controller for painting, and Gravity Sketch was pretty cool to use it with too, but personally for me, the novelty wore off pretty quick. Next up, the RotoVR Explorer, the first 360 degrees motorized VR chair that's special enough to get the official Made for Meta stamp of approval. Roto. Looks like we've got a seat cushion. That's definitely the heaviest part. The assembly started with flipping over the base, attaching all the legs, and then the wheels. After flipping the base back, you then have to attach the safety covers on top of the legs. This is mandatory to prevent your feet from banging into the chair legs while you're spinning. Thankfully, the chair won't even spin without these protective covers on. Then all you have left is mounting the footrest, the rumble pack under the seat, the back cushions to the seat, and finally connecting the seat to the base. By the way, definitely get some help if you're going to be picking this thing up so you don't hurt your back. 66 pounds is pretty heavy for a chair. Not much to be excited about with the height adjustability, with only a 2-inch difference between the high at 23 inches and low at 21 inches, and 19 inches without the wheels. And the base with the footrest is just a little over 30 inches in diameter. But obviously you're going to need at least your arm span worth of space in all directions to not break anything. So you're definitely going to need quite a bit of space. So after sliding out my review desk, I finally felt like I had enough room.
Look at all this floor space!
My first impressions of the functionality of the spin were pretty positive, and this little puck is all you need to get it to work. After clipping it to your headset and turning it on, it's instantly paired. And then all you have to do is press this little mode button on the side, which switches it to the head tracking mode. I was very impressed with how well it matched how quick or slow I turned my head. And if the default top speed is too much for you, there is a medium and slow setting as well. And then when you're done with that Pokemon looking puck, you're just gonna put it back on the base and it wirelessly charges it. Now for this rumble pack, that was a lot more difficult to get to work. For one, they failed to mention on their website, other than deep in the assembly manual PDF on the support page, that the main headset they actually put above the Made for Meta stamp, the Meta Quest 3S, that does not natively work because it does not have a headphone jack. I'll include a link down below or a QR code if you're watching on a TV for the exact adapter cable that I got that you'll need to make it work. This is the little network of cables that you'll end up with if you want the rumble to work on the Quest 3S. And Bluetooth headphones, which honestly I don't even recommend for VR due to latency, they were hit and miss. Traditional wired headphones work flawlessly on it though. Overall, I'd say this is a great product that eliminated motion sickness and definitely added to the overall VR experience. Still worth it even with that subpar rumble experience. Even at the lowest setting, it was too loud and rattled the house. Even worse at the highest setting. And when music wasn't loud enough to drown it out, the rattling from the chair was just a little annoying. The actual chair spinning noise was very reasonable though, and not very loud at all. Another reason I'd say it's worth it is because of all the upgrades and attachments that are coming out for it. Accessories for racing, flying, and even a desk attachment. Games will soon also be able to take over and control the chair as well. The first one to implement this was DigVR. Whoa, that is weird. I mean, props to DigVR for being the first to implement this, but this is kind of shaky. Oh, so it's actually tapping directly into that rumble pack. Yeah, there's actually not even a sound effect for that, and it's rumbling pretty hard every time I hit that, so that's pretty cool. And games like Guardian Frontline were really fun with this chair too. Love this game. That's really fast. You can just stop on a dime and change directions immediately, but then you can also ease into your movements, which is pretty cool. Oh my gosh. That is a game changer. Oh, that is so awesome. This is incredible. There's really not that much of a delay either, which is pretty impressive. The most fun that I had with it by far was playing that Iron Man game though. Oh my gosh. This is the closest that I've ever felt to actually flying. That is absolutely incredible. Wow. This is insane. This is probably the perfect game to play this on. Next up, the Woojer Vest 4. This is actually the only haptic vest with the official Made for Meta stamp of approval. Woojer, feel your music, movies, and games. The ultimate sensory upgrade. Whoa, firmware update is mandatory. Mise à jour obligatoire. And then on the back, we got a quick start guide talking about your basic charging and audio modes. Whoosh. There she is. Only use Woojer charger. I'm actually glad they put that on there because there's two USB-C ports on this vest. This one on the front is for digital audio. And then to the left and right of that front USB-C port, we've got an audio in and audio out port. Pulling it out and taking a closer look, we can see that it seems to be pretty high quality overall. Also in the box, we've got an instruction manual, which actually is very helpful and informative rather than just giving the extremely obvious info that many other tech products give. And then inside this little accessories flap, we've got a very basic audio cable, a USB-C charging block, and your main USB-C cable. So first impressions after getting everything tightened up, I'd say it's about just as comfortable as the Vest 3. A little weird and awkward around the waist, almost like a belt that's just a little bit too high. But just like the Vest 3, I'm probably going to get used to this pretty quick. In total, this vest has 6 haptic motors with 2 motors on the chest, 2 on the back, 1 on the right hip, and 1 on the left hip. I kind of do miss the more visual display on the Woojer Vest 3, but we do have basic volume and sensitivity controls on the Vest 4 as well. Technically, this color ring also tells you everything that you need to know. You're just gonna have to translate it. A much cooler and much more customizable way to control this though is with the app. In here you can also fine-tune the haptic settings with different profiles at the top depending on your preferences. Below that you can also calibrate the vest with your Bluetooth headphones to help offset the latency that you normally get with Bluetooth. This is just between your vest and headphones. There will always be a delay with Bluetooth audio. I highly recommend against Bluetooth audio for VR gaming. Alright, let's play some Beat Saber. Ooh, that is clean. Wow. That is intense. I gotta play this one. Ooh, that one hits good. So yeah, that is definitely worth it for Beat Saber. That was incredible. Pistol whip. Oh wow. So for Pistol Whip, I did have to swap out the music for copyright in the edit, but in-game, this is absolutely insane. You can really feel every single gunshot. That's incredible. Wow. Oh my gosh, that was crazy. Oh. That was insane. That is some intense music.
Anyone see him?
Wow. This made such a big difference on the first few games that I played that between the Vest 3 and Vest 4, I actually tested it on over 20 different games. And pretty much all of them were a lot more fun with it. Almost all of them. Personally, I definitely recommend you use this in wired mode and not connecting it to your VR headset via Bluetooth. The Bluetooth delay between what you see and what you hear completely takes you out of the immersion. I did have to buy this adapter for my Quest 3S though in order to be able to charge the headset at the same time it's connected to the vest, because unlike the Quest 3, it does not have a dedicated audio jack. And I'll include a link down below for the exact one that I can confirm does work. If you prefer to play VR sitting down, or you plan to use this with more than just your Quest 3, then this chair mount is going to be essential for you. Pretty easy to attach to a gaming chair, and then after you have it all set up, latching yourself up into it is really quick and seamless as well. And it wasn't uncomfortable like I thought it would be when sitting down either. You can see here that it's also compatible with the older Vest 3 as well. Another handy accessory that works well with both is this simple vest wall mount that's actually pretty convenient for putting this in the closet to keep it safe, out of the way, and off the ground. Also, just a heads up, if you plan to play this with very intense active games for long periods of time, both the Woojer Vest 3 and 4 will make you even hotter. So I highly recommend you get one of Woojer's washable linings to keep this from smelling like absolute death. Kind of a waste of money though, in my opinion, to get any of the ones on their sites with graphics, considering you never see this when you're wearing it. Now when it comes to head straps, I've got a lot of opinions. I have thoroughly tested 16 different head straps for both the Quest 3 and Quest 3S, and these are the highlights. If you're going for just comfort and don't need extra battery, you're gonna love this Desktech QH3. And because it doesn't come with an extra battery, it's very inexpensive, but even at that price point, you get one of the most comfortable head straps that I've tested with very even weight distribution. And it was just as stable in visor mode as some of the more expensive ones that I'm about to show you. The next step up from that is this Yogs battery head strap. For only $6 more than the last one, you get 10,000 milliamps of battery power. About 4 to 6 hours more of gameplay. I'd say it's about the same comfort-wise as that last one, but this Desktech is easier to adjust the top quicker. Also, the battery is magnetic and removable, but honestly, that's kind of pointless because they don't offer any extra batteries for purchase, so you can't even just swap it out. And in second place on my top favorite head straps, still this KIWI BVR Q3 Pro, also with 10,000 milliamps of battery power. Except this brand actually does have extra battery packs available for it. This one is even more comfortable than the last one, but what makes this one even better is that it also has these knobs on the sides that allow you to move the headset closer or further away from your face for the perfect fit. People with glasses, this is the best bet for you. But my overall favorite for the ultimate comfort and features, that award still goes to the RotoVR S3 Pro. Even after testing 16 of the top head straps for both the Quest 3 and Quest 3S. This one also has an external digital display showing you your battery level and also a built-in fan for cooling down your face, which honestly doesn't feel like it does much at first until you start to sweat. That's when you really feel the cooling effect. And there's plenty of options for extra batteries and docking stations for this head strap as well. So as far as keeping this very expensive headset safe, I know a lot of you, especially parents, are eager to know what the best case to get is, or at least the best for your money. Here we have a few of the most popular ones that many people end up going with, the most well-known being the official carrying case from Meta. $56 though, I'm gonna have to give it a pass. After testing it with a Quest 3S and 16 different head strap attachments, you can see that a lot of them did not fit in it. And even the tests in orange were way too tight for comfort. Probably not too many uses until something breaks. The similar compact version of this case I don't recommend either. On the surface at $28, it doesn't seem like a bad deal for those that just plan to stick with the stock head strap, but the petite little zipper on this one is honestly kind of cheap. On the first day, it was already catching and actually broke at one point. Luckily, I was able to fix it, but still, that's not a good sign. For quite a bit less than this one at only $26, this case from Sarlar is a much better bang for your buck than either of these two Meta cases. It's just not as hard, but it's hard enough. Almost all of the head straps fit in it, with only a few of them being a little bit too tight. You can even sniff it like this chick if you want to. For something that looks sleeker and has a bit of water resistance, I still like this Anapro from my last review. This one also comfortably fit a similar number of head straps as that last one. Another one that I still like from my last review, this HAPTICS case. Even though I'm sure you guys will really appreciate the fact that it fits pretty much everything, I know some of you are still gonna think it's just way too massive. So for the same price as this one, there's a new sheriff in town. Now replacing the HAPTICS as my favorite VR case, the RotoVR C3. This one is also compatible with every single head strap. It has a magnetic pouch for holding your extra RotoVR battery, a widened waterproof zipper, and can be used in briefcase mode, over the shoulder mode, or even converted to be used as just a desktop stand. So is the Quest 3S a better buy than the more premium Quest 3? Under the the hood, these two headsets are basically identical twins. They both rock the same Snapdragon XR2 Gen 2 processor and the same 8GB of RAM. That means that even for games like Red Matter 2 and Batman Arkham Shadow, the game performance, the physics, and the graphics rendering are all exactly the same. You're getting $500 performance for a $300 price tag. However, we have to talk about the eyes. This is where Meta cut the costs. The Quest 3 uses those new gorgeous pancake lenses. They're slim and closer to your face and therefore have a better field of view. And honestly, once you use them, it's hard to go back, especially with the higher resolution that the Quest 3 has. The Quest 3S, on the other hand, is using the older Fresnel lenses from the Quest 2. This means that you've got cone-centric rings, more chromatic aberration, and a smaller sweet spot for clarity. Is it a deal breaker though? Absolutely not, and it's honestly probably a better bet for those of you casual gamers on a budget that are not yet spoiled by a high-resolution VR display. With the 3S, you get mixed reality, hand tracking, and the same performance without emptying your bank account. But if you're someone that demands the absolute best visuals and really want to feel truly immersed in another world, then I recommend you click up here in the corner to watch my Quest 3 video. Currently, it's the highest viewed Quest 3 accessories video on YouTube right now with almost 2 million views. So I'm about to sum up everything that I actually do recommend you get, but before I do so, please remember that purchasing all of this costs me a lot of money. So if you do decide to purchase something, please remember to use my affiliate links in the comments and description below, or tag directly on this video, or using a QR code if you're watching on a TV, as I get a small commission at no cost to you for every single purchase made, and it's actually a major factor in keeping this channel going and getting better and better for you. Overall, if it doesn't stretch you too much, I would actually go with the Quest 3, or at the very least, the 256GB version of the Quest 3S, as the 128 fills up pretty quick. If you're going to be doing mostly PC VR though, I'd say don't worry about it, as most of those games are stored directly on the computer. Then I'd get the RotoVR S3 Pro Super Strap and the RotoVR case. Obviously the Woojer Vest 4, this very convenient foldable VR floor mat, which really does help you stay in one spot and not damage anything or anyone. For sure that KIWI charging stand if you want to show it off. And definitely this Meta Quest 3S hard shell cover. You do not want to get one of those soft ones. They slide around and block the sensors. Technically, I do recommend the RotoVR 2, but unless you have extra space and plan to play VR a lot, it just takes up way too much room. And if you are looking to significantly enhance your VR experience with PC VR, then click up here to check out my review comparing all of the most popular gaming PCs for every budget. All of the PCs in that video are VR ready. Or if you just want to take my word for it, I'll have updated links to my recommended VR ready gaming PCs below as well. I highly recommend you look into PC VR. Not only do you unlock a whole new world of way more VR games, your immersion and graphics also step up into an entirely new level otherwise impossible with just the VR headset by itself. Yes, VR gaming and especially PC VR is really fun, but please trust me, do not let it take over your life. Gaming too much will make you go insane. What helps me mentally is getting outside, staying active, eating healthy, and spending more time with my family. Also, studies have shown that reading the Bible at least 4 times a week can massively boost your mental health, and I can attest to that. And if you are a little skeptical about the validity of the Bible, then I encourage you to check out the book or documentary, The Case for Christ.